Hi guys, Tidy here again, coming to you from home. I want to talk to you today about how to buy and sell a property simultaneously. Okay, this is a tricky thing. It's a lot of pressure, I won't lie, but it's not impossible, and there are different approaches you can take. Okay, so some of you might have been in this situation where you have bought your first home. Fantastic, good on you. And you are now ready to upgrade. Maybe, especially because of the current pandemic, you realize you don't have enough space, you've built up some equity into your current home. You know, there are many different situations. But basically, you're ready to move on. So, what is the best approach? I can't tell you exactly what the best approach is. I can just give you the pros and cons of the different approaches we can take. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the pros of selling first and then buying your second property. Obviously, there's a lot of financial ease in doing it this way, because once you've sold your property, you've gotten a lump sum of cash, hopefully, from that sale. And so it makes you buying something a lot easier. You don't have to worry at all about having multiple mortgages to pay, which is a huge plus for most people. And also you will not have any trouble qualifying for a new mortgage, right? Because you would have cleared off your old mortgage. So it is, for most people, the simpler option. However, let's look at the cons. Doing it this way is going to leave you without a home you own for some period of time, and it also requires you to move multiple times, because you're probably going to have to either move in with family and while you look for your place to purchase, or you're going to have to move into a rental. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's pretty difficult to find short-term rentals. So you may have to get into a one-year contract if you're unable to find a short-term rental. You may have to put your stuff into storage if you don't want to move all of your stuff, or if you have to live somewhere that's a bit smaller temporarily, or move in with family. So all of those things will have to be considered, and you also may feel pressured into buying something very quickly. So you may feel rushed through the process of buying your second property if you look at selling before buying. Okay, now overall, I still would say this is the better strategy for most people who would have taken the max they could have in terms of a mortgage, etc., on their first home purchase. Okay, it still may be in your best interest to sell first and then buy. Also, if you feel like market conditions are really hot, which I can say at the time of shooting this video is not necessarily the case for Trinidad, but if you feel that your market, things are getting sold very quickly, then it might be in your best interest to sell your property now, maybe rent for a short time in between, or as I said, live with family if you can, if that option is available to you, and then wait for the market to cool down a bit and then repurchase. Okay, but in different market environments like we in Trinidad are currently in at the time of this video, that may not be the best strategy. Okay, so the other option you have is buying before selling. So this is a little more of a precious situation, but let's look at the pros and the cons of this as well. I've done many situations like this as well, and it can be actually a very good strategy. So the pros are that it's an easier transition from one house to the other. Okay, there's no in-betweens. Your house that you're selling is much easier to show because it's now empty. You don't have people kind of in and out while you're there. You also have more control over your timeline. It also can be a bit more of a relaxed home buying process because you've already purchased the property that you know that you want. You're not worried about where you're going to. So for some people it's a ease on their mind. Okay, so the cons of this strategy are it's going to be more of a financial strain, because you will have, once you've taken a mortgage on your first property, if you're buying a second property, you will have a period where you will probably have two mortgages at one time. So of course this is a financial strain, and it also will prohibit how much you can get a mortgage for on your second property, because you're still servicing your first mortgage. So bankers are going to look at your debt to income ratio, and they're going to take your first mortgage into account. However, this strategy, although it may seem like a lot of pressure, for some people it actually can be a great strategy. For example, people who have either a very small mortgage on their first property, or maybe even no mortgage at all. Maybe they were gifted the property, maybe they've already paid off their mortgage on their first property and they're looking at getting into their second property. This could be a fantastic strategy. It can also be a fantastic strategy if you just happen to come across either your perfect home or a really bargain deal that you know that you will not get at any other time. Then those are the situations where I would suggest buying before selling. But as I said, for the majority of people in majority of situations, selling before buying is probably going to be the most conservative and best option for you. Okay, now in market conditions where you are getting steals of deals because market prices have dropped because of the economic conditions or whatever the case may be, just remember that when you are selling low, at that same period of time you're probably going to be buying low. And when market conditions are high, and there's a lot of, the market is booming, you will probably be selling at a high price, but you'll also be buying at a high price. So it's fantastic if you can wait in between those periods of time. And obviously the best situation would be to buy when the price is low, like I can say at the time of shooting this video it is, and hold out for a bit and then sell when markets are booming again. That is the ideal situation. Okay, I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.